Welcome in, everyone. We are here at Andover High School for the Section 7 3A matchup here in the semifinals. This is the Andover Huskies on their home turf taking on the Blaine Bengals. The Blaine Bengals having to match up against Anoka to make it to the game today. They won that one 1-0 on a Staten goal just 7 minutes in. As we are underway now, the Bengals looking to get started quickly. They are in the attack. That's Staten trying to get around a few defenders, just about 3 all on her, and she gets the cross off into the middle of the field, trying to find Pascarella, but long shot up, arcing over the crossbar. I'm okay. But the first attack for the Bengals, and that means for them, as if they can keep this up, this offensive pressure that they've brought here today, that is going to be looking well for them. They're locking it in. They're keeping it in this attacking half. But the Andover Huskies do have the advantage, of course, with this home field. And that was exactly what Coach Tracy Grease was telling me before the game, is she wants her team to defend the home turf. A free kick coming in. This one from deep is going to slip through everybody and find its way out that back line. This is Baker in net for the Huskies. Gets it going quickly as they look to work through the middle. Bengals come up to get possession back. And all the way from the back, bringing it up the field, Maya Anderson trying to get things going. Baker going to give it a little bit of time for her team to push up the field. So they try to work up this near side. Dangerous ball through the middle. Pascarella able to get it through and can't keep it in play. That ball rolls so fast on the turf, and you know Pascarella throughout the season and throughout her career as a Bengal has shown her speed time and time again, and that almost was able to work for her. So that ball sent dangerously in the box, but back up, Baker sends the spell into play up the field. And the Huskies have yet to put together an offensive attack. We'll see if they can do that here. Into the box they go, and taken down. Referee allows us to play on, and ball crossing in. And Enlow comes up with it. That first attack for the Huskies almost leads to something, making Enlow have to do something to keep this game 0-0. 36-15 still on the clock for this first half. One of the coolest temperature-wise games we've had this season. So, of course, if you're playing in it, you want to make sure your legs are warmed up, you're ready to go. It's around that 55-degree mark, but definitely can't ask for much more in an October evening. They're going to use Baker. She had some time to let this one find feet, find her teammates as they look to work up that far side. Ball slotted down the outside, and the defense is able to recover it. It was Clausen for the Bengals that had to go all the way across and help that ball find that outside line. The Bengals throw in, this one coming from Hughes. Hughes coming into it strong, but now a 50-50 ball sent up, and the defense recovers it for Blaine, and they get it out of danger. They send it up towards that half line and allow the defense to get that pressure off of them, because the Andover Huskies started to find some rhythm getting into their attack now. Ball sent up on the near side, tracking it down and out of bounds. And we've talked about that a lot this season, is sometimes that is the best thing that you can do, is just to get that ball out inside the middle of the field. A shot fired, not a whole lot of power on it, so Enlow recovers this one. But these shots, these times the ball has been able to find its way inside Enlow's box, has allowed her to warm up and get accustomed to the pace of this game and to stay on her toes. So oftentimes, keepers, you might be glad that some of those happen in the early minutes, because then you're going to be ready for those bigger plays as we get down this stretch. 33-18 on the clock remaining in this first half. Ball out of bounds, and the Huskies in their attacking half, they're looking to get something done. And we've seen that an early goal helped the Bengals in the last one, trying to clear it outside the box. Bengals touch it wide, doesn't quite go out of play. Oh, it does. Hard to see from this angles, and that first corner kick quickly in. Ball sent through the box. And a long shot from range. Doesn't arc and dip quick enough. But that build-up for them is going to build some confidence on their attack. That was Brianna Stocky, the senior, stepping up to take that. And we see that ball find its way up and over everything because she's leaning back. She needs to make sure her body's forward on that next one, going to put some more power on it and keep that ball to stay on frame. Ball sent up to the forwards, turning and slicing to get back on defense. The Bengals recover it and get it up to Staden, who's had a tremendous season and career as a Bengal. Already 16 goals. Wanting to add some more. Ball sent right to Pascarella. Defense fighting to get it back. As they do, they recover it. And you know that these ladies are putting everything out there in the section playoffs. It's do or die, and you want to make it and keep your season progressing. Battle in the far side corner. Couple Bengals double teaming. Chloe Voss going to take the throw in for the Huskies on the far side. Voss sends it in, coming over the defense, getting a foot on it. That was Padilla. And Enlow scooping it up, recovering it, keeping her team again 0-0. And just about 10 minutes are off the clock in this first half. We still have 30 minutes for that early strike. Padilla Pascarella taken down. Referees allowed them to play through some of these collisions, and that's something to take note of as we get further into this game of how the referee is going to call it, how much contact is going to be allowed here tonight. Ball wanting to sneak its way past the back line, but stopped up by the wall. Huskies stay composed as they work this one around. Swenson plays it up the line, out of reach. I like how quickly that this Husky team gets the ball back in play after it goes out of bounds. They have that urgency. They want to find the net first, get that little extra cushion, allow them to relax and play. Staden with the ball at her feet. She is so dangerous, but defense comes up big time for the Huskies, stopping her in her tracks. Pascarella plays this one up, wanting to connect. Pascarella finds the feet. She gets it back. She continues to run through this ball. Pascarella sends it towards net. But Baker is there to wrangle in that bouncing ball off the turf. But that's what the Bengals need to keep doing, getting those shots off, testing Baker, and we saw Pascarella cut her way through the middle of the field and make that happen. The more times you can test a keeper, the better, and Bengals are going to want to continue shooting and getting into that final third. To use that possession to their advantage, but the Huskies with it now, and they work into their attacking half before giving it back. Bengals looking to find feet, able to turn. Huskies there with the tackle. And a strong tackle at that. Onto the far side. This is Avery Soley, who gets it tipped away. This ball sent over through the middle of the field. That was Schmidt. Sending it long and deep so the Bengals are able to be there and play this one out of bounds. Allow that team to come back and help them defend. Throw in coming. Staden coming back to it, and that's what you need to do. That ball easily can get turned over when the defense is trying to push it up the field if you don't come back and help them out. Staden does a good job of doing just that. Staden with the throw-in into Pascarella. Those two, a very dynamic duo. Laying it off to Staden. They will call this, and that free kick coming for Andover. Great decision to switch the field here on this. It's going to make that defense spread out, find that space. Able to find those openings when you switch the field, and the Huskies have done that quite a bit. Onto the near side, ball's tipped out of bounds. Maya Anderson putting it into play, finding Staden. The defense on her back. Referees letting them play through this. .25-36 remain in the first half. 0-0 game, ball out of bounds. And The Bengals continue to work up this near side. Maya Anderson finding Stadden again, double teamed. And this time ticking off Stadden, and it will be a Husky throw-in deep in their defensive end. So they look to work through the middle. Brianna Hudson doesn't quite connect to feet. They will call the foul on this one. It will go to Blaine, and a free kick for them in the middle of the field. Maya Anderson sends the lofted ball into the mix. Andover coming up with it, but giving it right back to the Bengals to put something towards Baker. I don't disagree with taking that shot. Ball out of bounds on the far side. This is Grace Hughes. Going to continue with another throw-in to find Pascarella. Pascarella using the body, but she is double teamed. The defense is there for the Huskies. They've been able to apply a lot of pressure already in this game. We've seen them coming up, creating that tough turn for the Bengals. They're not able to find the space that they usually can. But these teams already matched up this season, and it dates back to August 31st. So that has been quite a bit of time. But Pascarella inside the box and skies this one over the net. You see her leaning back. But that build-up for her, she's able to get inside the box, get around the defender. So that can build some momentum for her mentally, knowing she was able to get around some of those defenders to create that. But Blaine ended up losing last time they matched up. It was 2-1, so a very close game. And that time it was at Blaine. But this isn't their first rodeo matching up against each other. Section semifinals last year, these teams matched up. Blaine coming away with the win.
Free kick Huskies.
And 22-18, a free kick coming for the Huskies. Ball pushed out there. Defense able to run onto it, getting inside the box. But the Bengals clearing it out the far side. It's Grace Hughes. And she is a senior, showing that leadership. Stadden able to send a tremendous ball running onto it. Pascarella with space, and this is exactly the type of ball that she wants. She's going to be able to take on a couple defenders. She'll look to try to cross this one as got too far outside. That touch didn't go quite the way she would have wanted it, and a ball sent up and over Maya Anderson. The Bengals have been able to get a couple shots off, a few shots here in this first half. A lot of them have been reaching, and you see that's why the ball is rising and going over the crossbar. Stadden, dangerous through the middle and just outside that near post. See how quickly things can change. Bengals putting on the pressure. Had somewhat of a lull there the last 10 minutes or so, and now these last couple minutes they have been back to how they started this game. Substitution coming in for the Bengals. Abby Newby is checking in. Not quite in the game yet, and this one continuing on the near side, working her way up. Brianna Hudson forced out of bounds, and a throw-in coming for Audrey Swenson. Newby coming in for Pascarella. Zachman stripped away, gets it back. Great combinations to get this ball back up top. Staden, ball at her feet. Looking to connect, knocked out of bounds. And they'll get to continue to run up that far side. Staden. Looks like Soley on the up top. That was working with Staden, but ball sent back for the Huskies. As the Bengals continue, that's Newby into the mix. There was 3 Huskies there, and the Bengals find the turf. Bengal ball. Maya Anderson. Injury for the Bengals. This is Avery Soley.
Let's go, Huskies! Play tough! Into the game for the Bengals, number 5.
Avery Soley stepping out. And Sophia Walraven, the junior, stepping in. The Husky defense has worked together to defend quite a bit. No handball called. And 18-10 remaining in this first half. Ball sent back in. Lofted ball over the defense, looking to turn, knocking it out of bounds, and that is okay if you're a Bengal. Get some time to set up for some defense. Maya Anderson heading this one out of bounds, and same thing, just not allowing them to build in this offensive attack. We've stayed on this near side for quite a bit. This one getting over the back line, tracking it down. Maya Anderson. And it ends up as a corner kick for the Huskies. This is the second corner kick for them today. We'll see if they can use this to their advantage. 17-12 remaining in the game. And they have someone short, and that's something to be aware of. They take it all the way inside the box. And the Bengals get a touch on it to clear it just outside. Some contact between Zachman and Audrey Swenson. And it will be Bengals throw-in. Maya Anderson going to take this in. Staden, couple players on her. That was something Coach Zachman was telling me before the last game. We just called that Anoka Bengal game that we had on Tuesday. And he was saying that teams are going to be looking to double, if not triple team Staden. And we're seeing that happen tonight versus the Huskies. And that means a player is open. Her teammates are open. How is she going to be able to execute getting it to her teammates and possibly in good position to make something happen. Tess Enlow, the senior. She hasn't had the ball in quite some time in this first half, but now with it to send it back up. 15:40 remaining in the half. First two is Andover. And those 50-50 balls are going to be what will possibly win this game. This tight game's 0-0. And it's going to take those moments that they get possession back. Audrey Swenson helps push it inside the box. With it now, the Huskies score on the board first. This is Cedar Jorgensen. Cedar Jorgensen scoring just 15 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in this first half. And those are the types of things that can change a game. They get that score right before halftime. And now what does that do to the momentum? Are the Bengals going to rise to the occasion, step up, and get this back before halftime? Or are the Huskies going to continue on this because now they've relaxed a little bit? They've been able to net one. They can play a little bit freer, and we'll see if that allows them to net yet another one before halftime. Still a good chunk of time before they're able to talk to their coaches and get some wisdom before coming into that second half. But who's going to respond? Ball pushed over on the near side. Elizabeth Schmidt sent it to Audrey Swenson. But the defense of the Bengals stopping them up, at least delaying them. And my coach would always tell me that's exactly what you need to do. You need to delay there, allow your teammates to come back and help you defend. If you can just delay that, those few seconds can help quite a bit. The battle in the midfield pushes this to that far side. Bengals with it at their feet. And Newbie wanting to track it down. Baker clearing. Running it all the way back. That was our goal scorer from moments ago, Jorgensen. Tackle and running through it. Huskies almost had it, but Staden and her size helping push this ball forward. They do call the offsides on this last ball sent forward quickly. Wanting to push this ball back into place. See them actually taking quite a bit more time since they have that lead. Lydia Nordquist sends it up, tipped forward by Skyland Jorgensen. And Tess Enlow will get to take a goal kick. She'll want to push her team up the field. Get some space, not allow those attackers to be quite close enough to bring this one back right on her. Staden wanting to track it down. Ball lofted and kicked high. Now wanting to bring it down. These girls oftentimes try to keep that ball going. It's headed in the air. You want to just bring it down to the turf so you can collect it and keep possession. Ball sent forward. Sent through the middle. Looking to find feet. The Huskies keep possession. They're working this one around, and they have the time to do so. In the lead now, and that's Cedar Jorgensen wanting to lay it off on the far side. Knocked out of bounds. And Grace Hughes stops that attack. The ball out of bounds on the far side, and this game now in the Huskies' hands, up 1-0 to the Bengals as we approach just 11 minutes remaining. Ball sent through the box and not able to clear it. They get a shot off and on Tess Enlow. Tess Enlow was alert and ready to snag that one out of the sky as it soared towards her. And that's probably one of the toughest things about being goalkeeper, staying engaged, being ready for that shot to come at any second. Newby touching it back as it's sent forward, and Huskies recovering. Zachman, some pressure. Walraven. Balls went back and forth between the Huskies and the Bengals these last minute or so, 60 seconds. But as the Bengals get it, Crotcherville sends it to the near side, and it finds its way out of bounds. Back to the Huskies it goes. And as we saw in their last possession, they took their time. They used that possession to their advantage, running some of this clock off. They're in the lead. They have that 1-0 score. But Newby, wanting to run through it, just about is able to. And Walraven keeps it in play. A high kick there, nothing called. And running through it, Ellie Nean just about there for the Bengals. The defense gives it over to Stadden, and this is not the player you want that to happen to, but they recovered. There was 3 defenders there, and they touched this one out of bounds. Ball sent right back to Stadden. Stadden with her back to net, double teamed, and gives it back to Andover. They are doing a tremendous job of double teaming Stadden and finding ways to turn her over. Ball on that far side. Ellie Nean. Stadden heads this one. .851. You see that the Huskies are in no rush. Don't need to get this one back into play. They have that advantage right now. Newby sandwiched, comes up with it, keeps it, gets it back to Stadden. On the far side of the field, she'll go to work. She has some room to snake her way around some defenders. She'll get the call this time, taken down just outside the box, and this could be the prayer the Bengals wanted. This ball is in wonderful position to put this one on net. Stadden is going to take it for her squad. She has such a dangerous rip to her shots, and that is what she is wanting for this right here. Stadden sends it in and right at Baker. She didn't have to move a whole lot. This one not coming up the way the Bengals would have wanted it. Still quite a bit of time. 7:42 remain in the first half. The ball dripping into the box, and the defense gets back in the nick of time. Clear it to Newby. Newby gets the turn. She releases this too quickly. She had Stadden there. But you see players, you want to get that ball up the field. You're down by a goal. You're going to start potentially rushing some things. And now a couple players coming back in for the Bengals. Pascarella will return. And Carly Anderson. Huskies also have a substitution. Chloe Palo stepping in Stoughton, ball at her feet, nudges this one, and they get one more. Pascarella coming up, cuts it back, and the defense blocks it before it could get any closer to goal. The Bengals have found some more attack later on in this first half. There was a lull a little bit towards the middle. It's almost been that they'll not have the attack and they'll come back. Right now, the attack coming for the Huskies, and Tess Enlow collision inside the box. Tess Enlow will get a yellow card. Some rough play inside the box. I'm sure Enlow thought that it was rough on her as she's sliding out and they're trying to get it out. It pops out, and as that ball continued to play, she dives on it, and you saw some aggressiveness come out of Enlow, resulting in taking down one of the Huskies inside the box. This yellow card coming for Enlow now, and that's what happens. You have to come out when you have that yellow card. And Newbie now stepping into net. You have to at least be out for just a few seconds before returning. They're trying to calm down. Trying to get Enlow to calm down to be able to probably go back into this game quickly. We'll see. But the score, 1-0, Huskies up, and 6 minutes remain. Ball back in play. And that is tough. You think about mentally what that can do to your team. You see that happening with your goalkeeper. Tensions are high. It's the semifinals, and that is playoffs in the air. You can feel it. It's how aggressive these ladies are out there working to make their season extend to that section final. Ball on the far side, thrown back in, bouncing, and back out of bounds. Tess Enlow will return to the game. And I'm sure Newbie glad she didn't have to see any action back there in just those few moments. She stepped in quickly for Tess Enlow. But slicing this one through the defense. No intended target, no one received it. But they try to push that one out the sideline, but it does go over the back line. Corner kick number 3 for the Huskies. 4:15 remains in the first half. Huskies up by 1. 1-0 our score, and they look to add to it here. Sending it into the mix and touched out the back line. Enlow will get the goal kick. And the Bengals have a little bit of time to work with as they try to tie this game back up before half. Ball pushed to the near side. Coming over. Gets it up to Brianna Hudson. Turning. Referee allows this one to play on. You hear some of the fans wanting that call. But another corner kick coming for the Huskies. Oh, they will call it a goal kick. Just three corner kicks the Huskies have had But that is quite a bit of difference between them and the Bengals. The Bengals not having those corner kick opportunities. And we talk about it a lot in soccer, what those corner kicks mean. Oftentimes it's just the pressure deep into that defensive end. And they give them up because they're being forced to. They have no other option most times. As Andover continues to bring the pressure deep in this final third. Cedar Jorgensen, that was our goal scorer here tonight, throws this one into the box. Tessa Enlow allows it to go out of play, and she will have a goal kick coming back in. 2 minutes, 14 seconds on the clock. And you want to make it to halftime. If you're the Bengals, you want to at least keep this game in check. Just 1 goal down. That is certainly doable for them to come back from. We've seen them score time and time again. We saw how quickly Staden is able to fire one off of her foot and into the back of the net throughout this season. So that is possible. Pascarella has done that quite a bit for them as well. And a few other players have been able to find the back of the net. So they do have some ladies that can make this happen for them. But they just need to defend and make sure this game doesn't get any further separated. Free kick for the Huskies, and they will push up after this collision. This is Cedar Jorgensen coming all the way back to take this long-range free kick. Sending it into the mix. Bengals are there first, and those are those 50-50 balls that I was talking about. Ball sent up, and Enlow gets a tap on it. Referee's going to keep her safe as collision happening inside the box. Yellow card now awarded to the Huskies. This time, Skyland Jorgensen will get the yellow card. But those are those decisions the referee has to make. How can he keep the goalkeeper safe? I've had quite a bit of those collisions in my career. You're trying everything you can to just get that touch towards net. Bengals start to push this ball back up. 42 seconds remaining in the first half. Zachman gets it back, and an unfortunate error as it drops out the sideline. Cedar Jorgensen throwing it in, looking long. 25 seconds remaining in this game. Ball sent up through the middle. Zachman at her feet, sends it up to Pascarella. Pascarella unable to handle it, and out of bounds it goes. Still with the Bengals, though. It touched off the Huskies. And Pascarella trying to send it in, but not much time. 10 seconds remaining. Under 5 to go. 2, 1. And this one goes to halftime. The Andover Huskies scoring the only goal so far in this game. 15 minutes, 16 seconds remained on the clock in the first half when that one slid past Tess Enlow. Cedar Jorgensen, the goal scorer, and we will be back for the second half in just a little bit. But we appreciate you guys being with us for this section semifinal between the Blaine Bengals and the Andover Huskies. I'm Blythe Whaley, and looking forward to the second half with you.
Why should young people care about the spread of coronavirus? Well, we know that people with underlying medical conditions over the age of 60 are at highest risk, but they've got to get it from somebody.
So we're asking everyone to be selfless for others so that we can protect those who are most susceptible.
Not going to bars, not going to restaurants. It all just means physical separation so that you have a space between you and others
For more information on how you can social distance, please go to coronavirus.gov.
Share new perspectives with North Metro TV. Capture breathtaking cinematic images. Business exteriors, scenic landscapes, sporting events, or community images. With a professional videographer at the controls, North Metro TV will tailor a package for your budget. For high-quality photo and video aerials, contact North Metro TV.
Welcome back, everyone. Back here at Andover High School, I'm Blythe Whaley, and this is the second half of Section 7 3A girls soccer between the Blaine Bengals and, of course, the Andover Huskies. This is Newbie on the sideline, stripped away. Defense for the Huskies have been swarming the Bengals all game. But for the second half, you're going to see the Huskies in those black kits going from the left side of your screen to the right. And the Blaine Bengals going from right to left. Coming in towards Tess Enlow, having to lay out for it. And our score starting this second half, 1-0, Huskies leading it. Bengals get it up to Newbie here on this near side. She has two players on her. She gets it off to connect and finding it back at her feet to switch the field to Pascarella. Pascarella one more, pushes it out to that wide. That was Maya Anderson who sent it up. Baker in net. Onto this near side, they get the turn. Huskies off to the races. The defense coming over to recover. And that is what the Bengals have to do. They have to work together. The Huskies can get around one, but if you have multiple defenders there, as it ticks off and another corner. The Huskies had 3 corners in the first half. Now they'll add another one to tonight's game, making it difficult for this Bengal defense. This one taken by Cedar Jorgensen, who scored the only goal in this game, pushed out by the head of Stadden, and you see her running up with some urgency, wanting to get this goal deficit back under wraps. Pascarella pushing it out wide. Newbie tracking it down, slotting it back to Stadden. Stadden inside the box and just behind her. The ball doesn't quite get where she needed it to, almost running past it, it seems. That one was a very good build if you are a Bengal fan. You saw them finding feet, work their way up the field, and come into the second half ready to try to get that goal back and tie this game up. Only down by a goal, so this one is in close quarters. But on the far side, throw in. Given back to the Huskies, they will have their own throw-in on the far side. Pascarella gets a head on it. It is down on the ground. As the Huskies combine, Again, Jorgensen with it inside the box. She scored on one of those opportunities in the first half, but now double teamed and taken back. The Bengals push that one out of the box, skied back. But the Huskies haven't let off the gas. They are still looking to get another one in the back of the net, and they want it quickly. A lot of things can change as you start to move up and not just have that one goal deficit. The Bengals can tie this one any minute now, and this could be a completely different game. But Staden pushed this ball up a little bit further. The defense for the Huskies running through it, and oftentimes that is what is going to help a team maintain possession, just running through the ball. We see it working for Andover. It's the way to win 50-50 balls, and sometimes that's all the difference in these close, tight matchups. Dribbling around the defender, Alicia Huffman. Grace Hughes helps it up to Newby. Newby looking to switch the field, wanting to get one more. She gets it. Pascarella pushing it into the middle. This one's sent up towards the corner. Out of reach of Newby, and the defense shoves it out the sideline on that far side. But it allows the team to recover as a group. Hitting the back of Newby. She's able to play it back, and they get a shot off. Blocked up by the defense. Defense has been able to be there. Staden working just on top of the 18-yard box, slipping past and far out in front, allowing the defense to toe poke that one away. And Baker coming up with it. Great decision to push this one out. Molly Clausen, the senior. Jorgensen combining a few times before giving it back to the Bengals. Bengals starting to see some of those forced balls as they try to combine and get one back. Ellie Nean sends it up to Pascarella. It seems like there are multiple defenders always there on a Bengal as they receive the ball. They're swarming them, especially Staden, but it seems everyone up top they're able to find. Getting a report from our other game going on tonight. J.W. Cox on the call. We'll tell you about it after this build-up here. Staden working around a couple defenders as it gets pushed out off of Staden. Huskies get the goal kick, and they'll take it quickly. Dangerous ball sent over, but they get away with it. Cougars were scoreless at halftime versus Duluth East. This is the ladies we're talking. So Centennial, Lauren Allis scores 9 minutes though into this second half. And now shot fired on Tess Enlow. She scoops it up. 31 minutes remain in this second half between the Blaine Bengals and the Andover Huskies. Huskies leading the way still with that lone goal scored in the first half from Cedar Jorgensen. And Pascarella wanting to change that, running past it. Doesn't quite recover the ball. But Lauren Ollis taking a corner actually to Sydney Cubes. Sydney Cubes scoring, making it a 1-0 game for our Cougars here on North Metro TV. Ball pushed up, Staden, the recipient, gets this one shoved out of bounds. Bengal ball deep into that final third. Substitutions. Padilla coming in, and Zachman also coming in. Maya Anderson and Ellie Nean taking a seat for the Bengals. They'll work it around. Ball will remain with the Bengals on this free kick. Excuse me, they will give the throw-in. There's confusion on the field, but a throw-in does come for the Bengals. Gets it to Zachman. Zachman plays it back to Hughes. Lofts this one towards Baker. They had the runner on, and that was what this Bengal team is going to need to continue to do. That was Walraven soaring in. And as they can continue to do that and pressure Baker, they might be able to find one of those balls that bounces off. This game, such a close game between these two. Sent over onto this near side. This is number 10, Chloe Voss. Gets around one defender, with wanting to get around a couple more. Defense clears right back. Staden gets it to Pascarella. Pascarella sends it long to Walraven. Walraven looking to track it down. Keeper comes out, collision, and ball out of bounds. Bengal ball. 28-22 remaining. Ball sent in. Staden gets the turn. Shot fired and blocked. Bouncing towards Baker. Baker with it now, wanting her team to push up the field. Throw-in coming for Hughes. Staden looking to bring this one down. Hughes stepping up, stopping that attack early. You see them come over, and that helped force the Huskies to play quickly, and it resulted in that ball being pushed again outside that back line, that sideline, excuse me. Walraven pressuring as the Huskies clear. Defense tracking it down. This is Molly Clausen, helps it out the sideline. Quick throw in. This is Jorgensen. She scored already tonight, looking to get the cross off. She gets it off right in towards net. Tess Enlow coming up big time, keeping this game 1-0.
Free kick, Bengals.
free kick for the Huskies. They will continue to work their way up the field. Last year during regular season, these two teams matched up and came away with the tie, 2-2. And in sections, matching up, and the Bengals got the win. Quickly, this free kick is taken. And collision just outside the box. We'll see what the referee decides to do. I think he's just saying that this one was tipped. Throw-in coming for Jorgensen.
Free kick, Bengals.
And the Bengals coming out of that one with a lot to be excited about. This one is still in that tight quarters, that 1-0 deficit that they're still working out of. But that one could have easily been called a free kick just outside the box with that collision. Referees allowed them to play through a lot of that contact here today.
Into the game for the Bengals, number 9, Ellie Meehan.
Huskies push this one past the back line for the Bengals. They recover, send it out wide on the far side. Huskies are in their attacking end. You start thinking that possession game, just 23 minutes, 55 seconds remaining in the game. Ball out of bounds, goal kick coming for Tess Enlow.
Into the game for the Huskies, number 12, Bella Schrader. And number 16, Morgan Kneffley.
And still a lot of time, the Bengals don't need to worry. You want to play with urgency regardless. You need to tie this one back up, and to win it, of course, you need that second goal. So the Bengals are going to continue to work, but no need to put unnecessary pressure on yourself until it gets even lower. This one crossing in front of net, and just about a 2-0 game. The Bengals come out of it. Just this 1-0 game still. That one was a close one. Corner kick coming from Cedar Jorgensen. Lofted ball sent in. Stadden using that size. She gets up, gets the header, puts this one out of danger. Ball on the far side. Brianna Hudson wanting to get the cross off, doesn't get around the defender. And goal kick for Tess
Into the game
Enlow.
for the Bengals, number 15, Maya Anderson.
Substitution coming in. Maya Anderson stepping in for Grace Hughes, giving her a break. Pascarella does a wonderful job coming back. She keeps possession for the Bengals because of it. She stepped back, not allowing the defense to step in between. And that pressure by the Andover Huskies has continued throughout this game. They have not let up one bit. They have been on the back of the Bengals. Every time they're looking to turn, they haven't made anything easy for them. Pascarella lays it off. They push it forward, wanting to find Staden. They're unable to. Back with it at their feet. The Huskies continue to weave around the Bengals, pushing it up the field. This again is Jorgensen. Jorgensen turning around the defender, Nian. Laying it off,
Goal kick,
looking
Bengals.
for Chloe Voss, but Bengal goal kick coming up. 20 minutes, 47 seconds on the clock. And the Bengals have had a few of those offensive attacks. They came quite early in the second half. And the second half has been a lot of Andover Huskies. Seeing the ball on the right side of our field quite a bit. And when it has been on the left side, they haven't been able to keep it there very long. So we're seeing that time of possession.
Goal kick, Bengals.
Zachman, the ball at her feet, wanting to help her team get back in this game. They need to tie it up. Pascarella, ball sends it over to Nian. Nian, one more, over to Walraven. Walraven tackled but keeps it. Still in possession for the Bengals. They work this one around. Pascarella bringing it down to the ground on the far side. Defended tightly, and the Huskies yet again come away with it. What we like by Pascarella is how hard she defends. She comes back and they give the free kick to the Bengals. You hear a lot of upset fans here for the Andover Huskies, and I'm not so sure how that call came up. There was a collision between what looked like just the one Bengal. Pascarella running back. But they push this one forward. And Baker, free kick now. Goal kick, excuse me, after going out that back line. Newbie coming in, replacing Walraven. And 18:24 on the clock. They need two, if you're a Bengal fan, to win this game. But just that one to at least tie this up and continue to fight tonight to move on to that section final. Ball sent towards the near side. The Huskies working their way up. Great ball back to this outside. Defense for the Bengals working together. Pascarella clearing it. She goes down. Referee will blow his whistle. Ball will come back. Free kick
Bengals.
for the Blaine Bengals. Newbie has the ball stripped away. The defensive back line coming up for the Bengals. It's Molly Clausen pushing this one back forward. Nian getting it taken. She had that man on her back and able to get around her and possession back. And Mo decides to come up with that ball that trickled past the back line. And that's what the goalkeepers need to do, is find those times. Build up here for the Huskies as they just about net their second goal. That one I don't think could have got any closer, as the defense,
Goal kick Bengals.
I'm sure, was sweating quite a bit despite how cold it is, because of how close that ball really was. Newbie recovering the ball for the Bengals. Stoughton doesn't quite get it to her. Backline coming back to defend. And again, Molly Clausen forces it out the sideline. Ball sent back in. Defense coming up to push this one up top. Doesn't connect to feet. Maya Anderson throwing, sends it up to Newbie. Newbie pressuring, helps get this ball back. Got to give credit to that initial team member who pressures. Even though that you always see the person who gets the ball, but sometimes you don't realize who it was to start that to happen and allow that to happen. Newbie pressuring forced them to quickly play that ball, allowing Clausen to step in and grab it. Ball sent up. Couple of Huskies looking to bring it down. Now you start to think about, okay, we need to score. We for sure need to score. We got to tie this one up. 14 minutes remain in this in this game, in the second half. And another long-range shot, and into the back of the net. The Huskies strike again. It was Lauren. Second goal for the Huskies coming from Hudson, and that one is going to make it quite difficult as the Bengals look to work out of this one. This is a young squad for Andover. Coach was telling me before their game just what that's been like to figure out what they're capable of here this season. Pascarella, ball at her feet, long range shot fired, and Baker forced to push this out the back line. A corner kick for the Bengals, and this is big. Get to use this set piece opportunity to see if they're able to net one. And again, if they're net one, just that momentum can possibly surge them to get yet another one close. Corner kick sent inside the box. Bengals send it nearly towards net. It is knocked off the Huskies. A second corner kick for the Bengals. And from the looks of it, Bengals haven't had those corner kick opportunities until just right now. Here again, sent in. That short ball, looking to fire, and off the mark. 11 minutes, 44 seconds as the Bengals try to get back from a 2-goal deficit. Huskies got the first one in the first half with 15 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in that first half. Now scoring their second goal here in the second half with 14:02 remaining. Now we're sitting 11:22 remain, and the Bengals need to go if they are going to here tonight. Pascarella, shot fired and off the mark. Very close for the Bengals, and you can tell the intensity is picking up for them. They know they have to score a couple goals to at least tie this one up and to continue playing here tonight. Our season depends on it. Whoever ends up on the underhand of this will have their season expire here tonight as the ball pushed through now the middle of the field. Pascarella taken down. Referee forced to make that call. Did have her hands on her back there, and Pascarella had to work for that one. Staden coming back to take it. Staden is committed to the U of M. Kaya Harper, another one of our top players here on North Metro TV, already there. Ball lofted up and over the crossbar. Staden just about puts that one on frame. Nine minutes, 57 seconds. Ball sent towards Newby. Ian keeps it in the attacking half. We've seen that difference since that second goal went in for the Huskies. We have been in the attacking half for the Bengals quite a bit, and you see what a change that did to them, knowing we got to go. We have to get 2 goals back if we're going to tie this up, and we don't have a whole lot of time. Pascarella slotting this one forward. Doesn't get her hips far enough around it, and this one finds its way to Baker. Ball out of bounds on the far side. Husky fans not agreeing with this call. Throw in for the Bengals. Pascarella working her way inside the box, gets the cross off, but doesn't get it in front of the goal. It knocks off of the defense, and the Bengals will get another corner kick opportunity in this second half. Ball out of bounds on the far side. Sent inside the box. Staden having it ricochet off a couple of the defenders. There's a sea of Husky players on her as she is taken down in the box. No call. Referee will say it is a goal kick. Staden frustrated, I'm sure, having to work around almost 4 Andover players inside the box. Huskies work this one through the middle, and they push this one out. Tess Enlow comes all the way out, and now no one is in net. The defense is able to stall just enough time that Tess Enlow can come back and recover. When you're a defender and you know that your keeper is not in the net, you have to do everything you can that they don't get any type of shot off, because they could just loft something or send something even so slow rolling, and it could still find its way into the back of the net. 6 minutes, 30 seconds separate us from the end of this game. The Andover Huskies leading the way 2-0 over the Blaine Bengals. 1-0 at halftime, and now that 2-0 score in the second half. Nian lofts this one up that far side. Zachman was defended. Ball out of bounds off the Huskies. Forced back in play. Steps up. Pushes this one to Pascarella. Pascarella some time in the middle of the box. Lofts this. And again, high over the crossbar. And those balls start to get forced. It's even easier for them to get lofted high because you're trying to hit them quickly and you're not as far and up next to the ball as you could be. And you normally see that ball get lofted high later in a game as you just try to get something on it. You want to at least get something towards the net as you try to come back. Huskies stripping away. Not a ton of possession for them in this later part of the second half. After they scored that second goal, we saw the Bengals look to respond, but ball sent inside the box. And they clear it outside, but now sent back towards Tess Enlow, who comes up to gather it as it comes down. 4 minutes, 39 seconds. Newby with the ball at her feet. Double teamed. She's on the ground. Just about coming up. Jorgensen, goal scorer from the first half. Pushing that up the near side. Out of bounds off of the Huskies. Bengals will come up and take the throw. Maya Anderson puts it back in play up to Staden. Staden, girl on her back, but one right in front of her, sandwiched. The Bengals keep possession, and Zachman has it stolen away. Zachman recovering, getting it back quickly, sends it up that far side. Pushing that out in front and out of the back line. Got rolling too quickly, this turf. Rolls so fast, 3 minutes, 29 seconds. I've seen 2 goals scored within 35 seconds before in one of my college games. So it is definitely possible for the Bengals to make something happen if they can at least net that first one. But time is not of the essence. Closing in, 3 minutes remaining in this second half. Nian gets her on one defender. Pushes it out wide. On the ground. Zachman wanting to run up to it. The Bengals have it stolen away. And this ball is pushed for Maya Anderson to have to recover and just put this one out of bounds. You can't go down by a third goal. Not enough time to come back. 2 minutes, 15 seconds. And you see how slowly the Huskies are moving to get this back into play. They don't need to rush anything. Inside the box, Huskies have it, slotting that one, and Tess Enlow coming up with a tremendous save. That was close range. Some quick reflexes from her. 1 minute, 48 seconds. Huskies sliding this ball just about to the forward. They have it inside the box. Deflected, and the Bengals push this out. Another deflection off Pascarella. It stays in bounds. Tough tackle. Minute remaining. And this ball goes back into play. Stoughton.
1 minute remaining. 1 minute.
So here, the 1 minute remaining in this game. Stoughton, bring it down to the ground. You want to at least get one if you're the Bengals. How can you find the back of the net before this one expires? And you see Newby taken down. Referee makes the call. 42 seconds on the clock. Stoughton quickly placing it on the ground, wanting her team to push up the field and help her out. She sends this one forward to Pascarella. Pascarella cuts it back. The defense is there. Pascarella picks it up and sends it back into play. 20 seconds remaining in the game. Zachman has it taken from her inside the box. Anderson working around a couple defenders. Shot blocked. And under 10 seconds to go as this one ticks down. 3, 2, 1. The Andover Huskies do it and defend their home turf. 2-0 our final score, and the Andover Huskies will move on to the section finals. The Bengals having a wonderful season. Of course, those seniors, we've enjoyed watching them, and I'm sure we'll see more of some of them. Stoughton already committing to the U of M, so we'll see her still in our home state. But we thank you guys for joining us for this section semifinal. It has been a wonderful night with you. I'm Blythe Whaley, and continue watching our coverage as more of our teams advance here in this fall playoff season. Thanks, you guys.